Have you ever wondered what it's like to be rich? Have you ever wondered what it feels like to sign a record deal in the back of a car that's nicer than most people's entire homes? Well, today you're gonna find out. And because you would never hire a chauffeur wearing sweatpants, a t-shirt, and a backwards baseball cap, I have dressed the part to drive you around in what is considered by everyone the ultimate standard for luxury sedans. Welcome back to Adam Drives LA. If you're new to the channel, my name is Adam and I drive the coolest cars on LA's most iconic roads. Now today's car is the brand new 2021 Mercedes Benz S580. This has always been Mercedes Benz flagship model, and the S-Class has always led the way as a benchmark for the ultimate luxury sedans all the way throughout its inception, and everybody else has been playing catch up. Now today we're going to go through the exterior design. I'll give you my opinion on the interior features, we'll go for a drive, and I will at the end tell you my final thoughts and if I think you should or should not buy one of these. Now, as you can see, we are in beautiful Beverly Hills, but if you go back to my very first few videos, I got 2 tickets just for driving around here. So I have come to the conclusion that the cops in Beverly Hills are what we call player haters. So we're gonna get in the car and we're gonna go to a different location. We're gonna start with the exterior design, and to start, this is the best place, is looking at the sheer size of it from the side. The new S-Class is 208 inches long. Now, to give you a point of reference, Shaquille O'Neal is only 87 inches tall, so you can have, what, 2.5 Shaquille O'Neals laying down next to the car. I'm not the best at math, this is why I do car reviews, but let's move along to the front. I'm gonna show you a couple of things. First off, the overall look. It's expected, right? This is what we thought the new S-Class would look like as just a general evolution, but it's just delicious, especially with this burgundy metallic color. It looks and fits this type of car in this class so well. You can see, of course, this is a car design trick. You put little smaller headlights to make the car look bigger. Now up front, you're gonna see this chrome is part of the luxury package. You see all the chrome trim. Along with that, notice one thing. The floating actual big hood ornament that everyone wants is back. I believe this is the only model Mercedes offers the physical hood ornament on. We love that view from the inside. You see it, it's just like a target, tell you exactly where you're going. Up front, you're gonna notice this blank flat panel is gonna be all your radars and sensors. That's not all, you have a camera on it. You have more sensors back there on top of the windshield. You have your augmented reality heads-up display monitor over here, which only the driver can see. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we get into the interior. Walking around the side of the car again, this is where it's the most expected. This is where the S-Class really hasn't changed very much. Now it looks sleek, it looks good. Those chrome trim accents are great, but there's just no evolution here. The chrome panels all over the flush door handles, as you can see, they pop up as I come close to them. So we're gonna close those back in. Now walking around and wrapping to the rear end of the new S-Class, this is going to be what I consider the weakest point of the car. This is where it looks just too much like a CLA. And so why would people be excited to pay $113,000, which is the base MSRP on the new S580? Why pay $113,000 when you can have similar styling in the sub $30,000 range with the CLA? So all the new base Mercedes kind of share this rear end. That's why I'm not crazy about it. But other than that, very exquisite, very prestigious look. So everything, the most exciting part is going to be on the inside. So let's hop in. When you first sit in the S-Class, my impression was that they have put effort into every single part of this car. I mean, everything you touch, just the material, starting with the door. Just look at the door. Up here, you've got leather. Below it, you have an LCD panel for all of the ambient lighting, which we're going to talk about. You have quilted leather below that, more leather for the armrest, this piano black up here, more leather down here for an area that you're pretty much only using to kick the door open with your foot. You're gonna make it dirty, but they still went leather with it. All the buttons, the switches, everything up here is this metal, this cold to the touch metal. And all of these buttons for the seat control, they are touch at this point. They don't necessarily move like all the other S-Classes. Everything up, down, front, back, it just moves on its own just from the touch. They really have gone to lengths with all of this touch stuff. Up here, this is one big panel now, but these are each their own individual touch buttons, but they're not really buttons because it knows which one you're going for, even though it's one massive panel. Now, moving from there, you're gonna see this wood that goes all the way across the front. Now, when I say they put emphasis and just attention to every bit of this car, this is what I'm talking about. I really think they have gone to every length to make the cabin feel as roomy as possible. Now, looking directly ahead of me, the steering wheel, it almost feels like a sporty steering wheel because of how small it is, so I like that. It's just the right size, it's leather wrapped, I mean, feels very high quality. And again, you've got that piano black down here. All of these are now touch pads, they're not necessarily buttons, so even the volume control, you just slide your finger up and slide it back down. There's no button to press. It's really cool when you get used to it, so just kind of have the patience, learn the new technology, because there's a ton of that in this car. Speaking of technology that I've never seen before, check out the instrument panel in front of me. This is considered a 3D instrument panel. Now, when you describe it to anyone, or even my passenger sitting here will not be able to understand what I'm talking about when I say it is a 3D panel. It's odd because only I can see that. To everyone else, it's just a flat screen. So very difficult to describe, but this is that 3D instrument panel. It is an option. It's not on all the S classes. Just behind it, you see more technology. Look at that. That is a massive, that's for the augmented reality heads-up display. Again, something I've not seen before, but this car has the ability to project arrows and things like that ahead of me to tell me where I'm supposed to turn. This one does not have that yet. This is something that I believe is going to be updated on all of these, but this does have the ability to project onto the street directly in front of me where only I can see it. All right, now moving along, let's get to what everyone probably wants to see, is that brand new MBUX system. This is it. Of course, I have said in the past, the previous MBUX is the best system in the market. Many reviewers have said that, and this is the newest version of that, first in this car. So, a few cool things. One, it is completely touchscreen and no buttons, like I said. So even the volume, something I've usually had a problem with, see, it's a slider. So we're gonna mute that. But I've always said we need a dial. They've found a way to make it pretty simple, pretty easy to use, but still, I'm not sure. People need to get used to this. Once every car has it, then we can be okay with it. But a lot of cool features in here. First, the ambient lighting that goes all around. Check this out. When you want the AC on and you go warmer, check out the red light that's gonna go across for the passenger. It goes all the way around the car. When you want it cooler, down, and look at the blue light. This ambient lighting is all over the car and it reacts to just about everything you do. Now let me show you some of the cool things. Of course, very easily, and something everyone wants to see, is that ambient lighting. You go into settings. I have it on multicolor. So we're on Malibu Sunset right now, which seems to be a favorite. If you pay attention, the colors are moving. So whatever is really pink here will eventually be pink down there, and then you'll have this warmer colors coming through here. Like I said, it's a sunset and it goes all throughout the entire cabin into the rear. So I love how that is. You can see the blue starting to come in now. It's so serene driving with this. You have your massaging seats, but instead of going through all of these and turning them on that way, which they're extremely easy to use, I do like to do it the verbal way because we're in a nice car, so other people should do things for us. Hey Mercedes,
how may I help you?
Turn on the driver massage seat.
I'm switching on the massage on the driver's seat.
It's on. I feel it. It's pretty aggressive, I have to say. There's a vibrating one that makes me feel very uncomfortable, but there are the ones that go all across the top here. Again, I have my pillow. It just makes waiting for people to come out, you know, to go out. It just makes it so nice to be in this car, to just kill some time. So easy to take a nap. So it's pretty intense.
Your Mercedes Me settings.
Are you kidding me? Check this out. When you're ready to adjust your seat, you don't even have to do that. You go into automatic seat positioning. I'm gonna put in that I am 6'2", it's in inches. And I'm gonna say start positioning. Watch this. The steering wheel, my seat, the headrest, everything adjusts. It's still moving. There you go, until it figures that this is the optimal position for your height. So the shoulders, the headrest, everything is in what it thinks is the perfect position for someone who is 6'2". Now the navigation setting in the new MBUX is out of this world. So when you go into navigation, you're gonna punch in your destination. Let's just say we're looking for the Beverly Hills Hotel. So we punch in the Beverly Hills Hotel. Once it gives me the directions, it will actually show me on the screen exactly where I need to turn. They have gone to every length to make everything a touch panel at this point. Check this out. Swipe your finger across and look at that. It's gonna open up. So many things are gonna start being like this, especially in Mercedes. This world is just, they're evolving so quickly in this touchpad thing, and they've really mastered it. Everything seems to work flawlessly. As much as I dislike these things sometimes, I do have to give them credit. It works flawlessly for pretty much every function here. Now, the last thing we need to go over is stepping outside, and let's get into the rear seats, which honestly speaking is probably where you want to be in a car that's so relaxing. So let's walk over to the other side. Now, getting into the rear seats, of course, the first thing you notice is the insane amount of legroom. I mean, it's just unlike anything else. And this is not even the Maybach, which is officially out, and it's a few inches longer, I believe 7 inches longer. But for a regular S580, I mean, there's so much legroom. This is better than the limousine at this point because you don't have that cramped feeling. It's just so nice. You've got a pillow back here. Now, something you notice, of course, there is space behind my seat. Now, the reason for that, of course, is these are adjustable, so I can go back even more. These are reclining seats. There is an option to have your legs, a rest for your legs, like a little ottoman and all of that. That's just next level. So screens are an option. This one does not have that option. We have the luxury package, but not the screens back here. So you would normally get a few more screens in the back, control everything, and basically look at everything that's on the main screen from back here. So cool option if you really are going to be driven around all the time. On the door, tons of that ambient lighting, which even goes behind me all around the car. Very cool feature that just ties in all around. You've got this total panoramic open top up here. Of course, you've got a center bar here, and this one doesn't necessarily open up, but for the lighting, I mean, it's just such a nice place to sit. Of course, back here, I have a couple of buttons. So one, we will put up the sunshade in the back. Very useful, by the way, in LA, in the sun. Even though this car has the tints, you still want those. That's not it. You get sunshades for the rear windows as well. We'll put those up. Check this out. Even the small one back here has the little sunshade for it, the small window. I mean, they've really gone to lengths to make sure that, you know, the rear occupants get as much out of this car as possible. And dropping the center console here, look at this. So of course you've got a pad here just to put things down that won't move. It's rubberized. Back here you've got some USBs, some more storage. Check this out. Of course it's a major gimmick, but that's your pen holder. You're signing major deals back here and things like that. I guess it's a classy, elegant way to present to, you know, a client or something. Press it again. There are your cup holders. I know people were wondering where they are. You press it twice. So pretty cool features in the center here, but no refrigerator. Pretty disappointing for an S-Class, but that's coming. There's an AMG and a Maybach. But you see the seat backs, they have that wood, which is something I haven't seen before, having this cool wood trim. More storage down here, and of course ambient lighting even on the back of the seats. I mean, what more can you want back here? This is pretty much the top of the top. You have AC and vents on the sides here. I mean, there's not a lot more to say when it comes to a car that is pretty much always been the best in its category. And then we're going to talk about what the next level is after this, but why in a lot of cases there is no next level. This is pretty much where you want to end. I'll talk about that during my drive. Now, as you can see, the trunk is very roomy. I'm 6'2", about 200 pounds. Pretty comfortable in there. That's basically space for your sixth passenger. They should be willing though, don't throw anybody back there. Now, check this out. Something I've never seen before, a shelf, I guess for important things. I mean, they have to be light. This is a pretty flimsy piece. I can see this breaking, but interesting. I've never seen that before. Very roomy. This class of car also, of course, has to have the extremely roomy trunk down here. One thing I'm disappointed, you have your umbrella holder back here, but they did not provide you with an umbrella. Rolls-Royce gives you their branded umbrella. Don't you want, that's free advertising. Pay $10 to make an umbrella for each customer. They go out and they use it at all these events and restaurants and everything. I mean, they're missing something big time here. So with all that said, I think it's now time to go for a drive in, I guess, the most luxurious car you can buy right now for under even, I guess, $300,000 or $400,000. You know, driving a car in this class, this like executive full-size sedan, it's odd because it's so enjoyable and relaxing driving it, and it's so soft, but at the same time, you kind of just want to be in the back. You want to lay down and not have to worry about the driving. And it's so oddly quiet in here. I don't think I've ever driven a car like this. I know Lexus is known as a brand to have a very quiet interior. They put a lot of emphasis in all of the, you know, molding around the windows and everything, but this is just next level. It's very oddly quiet in here. Speaking of how quiet it is in here, it's odd because this has a massive 4.0 twin turbo V8, makes 496 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, and it is capable of getting from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Now I'll show you the power in a little bit, but of course that's not important in this car. I'm shocked that for a V8, it's still so incredibly quiet. And a car like this, you do still want to have some power to it. So here we go. That's full throttle. It feels good. I mean, there's definitely a lot of power to the car. It's just not necessarily something you want to use. It gets louder, it gets rough. I don't like that. I don't want to ever use that power. For those of you who are in the market shopping for a car like this, it is just important to note that BMW with the 7 Series and Audi with the A8 have just always been playing catch up to the S-Class. The S-Class has always been the benchmark for this ultimate kind of luxury, this opulence, and always pushing the boundaries of technology, power in a giant car like this. It's something that a lot of companies really strive to reach, and it takes a lot of companies many decades to get to a point where they're leading in its class pretty much consistently, and the S-Class has always been doing that. Now this new S-Class has the ability to drive entirely on its own from 0 all the way up to 80 miles per hour. From then on, it absolutely requires you to take over. No problem there. I mean, in the Autobahn, anywhere you're going over that 80 mile per hour limit, it's still going to feel so smooth. These are those kind of top end high speed cruisers that feel so soft, whether you're going 20, whether you're going 120. They're built for that, they're meant for that. And the one cool thing is, like, an S-Class owner, a buyer, they can have a net worth of, let's say, $300,000 salary, and they buy a car like this. Or they can be a billionaire, because there is no, I mean, there's almost no going past this. There's nothing better than this. When you want something that's understated, that does everything well, and you're not ready to step up to a brand like a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce. This really is a car to be driven at nighttime, because the heads-up display is kind of fading in the sunlight. I can see it, but it's a full color display, which only in my position you're able to see it, which is pretty cool. But it's fading away, and then all of the ambient lighting is kind of disappearing. So in nighttime, I've driven this car and I've seen this car. It's like a light show in here, and in a nice way, not just overwhelmingly bright, nothing like that. It's just so tastefully done, which S-Class is known for. They've always been tasteful while still sort of pushing the boundaries. Now, with all of this said, I think it's time. Let me pull over and give you my final thoughts and tell you whether I think you should or should not buy the new S580. The S-Class masters everything it attempts. It somehow sets the bar so high and maintains that #1 spot among all of its competitors. Now, the main competitor after this is going to be the Bentley and the Rolls-Royce, which draw too much attention for the type of buyer that's looking at this car. So in a lot of ways, in terms of luxury transportation, this might be about as good as it gets. Now, you can save $6,000 and go with the S500, which I do not recommend because it comes with a weaker V6 engine. Go with the V8, get the S580. You get a ton of car out of this, and it's hard to even compare it to a car. The feeling you get rivals like looking at a chandelier. It's that kind of extravagant feeling inside and outside, like watching someone play a piano. All the wood inside, all the materials are just so well done. This is the type of car that if you're in this market looking for a car like this, there simply is just no other option. You have to go with the S-Class, and you should go with the S580. Those are my final thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, I invite you to scroll down, hit the subscribe button, hit me with a like, and you will get an awesome car review like this one every week. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next car.